Okay, this is part two. So we're going to start all over again with this Indigenous erasure. It's a black dude. It's a black woman. It's a black woman. It's a black woman. It's going to start all over. That's a native. Alright? It's a white woman. It's a black woman. It's a black woman. Those are white people. It's a black man. It's a black woman. It's a black woman. Another black woman. Now we got that out the way. Now, you want to get mad at me? Go get mad at them. Look at my face. I am part Indigenous. You do not see a war bonnet. You do not see war paint. Because I understood that I had to do some research. As far as I know, until this genealogy test proves otherwise, I believe we are Cherokee. So I still have a whole lot more research, and I've been on this reconnecting journey for about 4 or 5 years now, give or take. Let me give you how I got here, and then we're going to dive into this Indigenous erasure shit. So I went to the military to get a checkup, alright? Because military checkup. I met a man who was half native and half black. He was darker than me. He had a prominent Native American nose, something I do not have. I have the high cheekbones, but I do not have the native nose. No matter how you slice it, this is not a native nose. Alright? And if it is a native nose, somebody that's native, let me know. Now, I know this is native stuff. Because clearly you can see that I'm mixed, not just because of the hair. Now, this black man, native man, told me, because he bumped into me, we sat beside each other, he's like, yo, are you full native? And I was like, no, I'm half native, maybe less, because I had native grandparents. I don't know how that shit works. He's like, so, what did he explain? I was like, all right, so my mom's mom is either mixed native or all native because she has this kind of hair. She's never used a perm a day in her life that I know of. And she's pretty much my tone, but maybe a little bit more closer to this tone than this tone. My dad's mom is also this tone, but her mom was way lighter, and she is native, and she is from supposedly the Powell Heights or Charles City area. All right, so we're still working on that for genealogy purposes. But what I told him was that we were part Cherokee because that's what we were told. So we may not be Cherokee, but we are part Native. So now the question is, what Native tribe do we come from? All right. Now, shit got a little complicated and explaining that to him, and he's like, okay, so what about your dad? I said, my dad's dad is black, and all of my dad's children, the women have more native features, the men have more black features. And all the kids in my generation have more native features than black features, okay? Now, my mom's side, my mom's dad was whitish. He was part white, and he could look like a white man, which is why my mom looks like a white woman, and my mom is white presenting. She doesn't pretend to be white, though. She lets everybody know that she's black. She's proud. She's just fucking white as fucking paper. So that fixes that up. So that being said, that explains why each and every one of my siblings and myself have different shades of brown, because we're mixed all the way through. Anyway, and some of us have married mixed people. So, that's why the kids look so different. Anyhow, it's also why we have good grades of hair. Very few of us have black people hair. Alright? So I'm talking to this man, he's like, well, you need to get on your reconnecting journey. You need to get your native card. You need to do this. I'm like, what? Wait, slow down, what? And he's explaining all this shit to me. And how I could go to college for like cheap to free. And I'm like, dude, I think that only works for full bloods. I don't think that works for me. He said, well, you look full blood, you can probably pass. It's like, well, I don't want to lie to the system. It's like, motherfucker, the system is going to do anything it wants anyway. So here's what you need to do. Contact the BIA. Do this, do that. And I started doing that. And I went down a rabbit hole that I can't get back from, because now I have to continue. So, and this is before I decided to stop using James Williams Jr. as my name and started using Echo Fang Grey Wolf as my native name and my stage name. So now you know how that happened. So as I go through all these changes on this reconnecting journey, I'm discovering things and thinking things of how I could have been so wrong like 5, 6 years ago, making the videos in which I spoke of in the other video. You can go back and check that out. So now I'm lost in the sauce, but I also now know that I am working like hell on my reconnecting journey, trying to figure things out. So that's where we were. Now, let's get on this Indigenous Erasure shit. Alright, Indigenous Erasure. It's all over TikTok. Please forgive the background noise. If you could see the shit I've seen other than what I showed you in the first 5 seconds of this video from one of my native friends, you would understand that this shit is fucked up. And literally, I am not afraid of cussing for that because this shit is fucked up. Now, one, there's not a lot of native shows representing natives in America. Period. There's not a lot of shows. We've had some special TV shows come on, but there's no like real special representation shows. You know, there's no shows talking about MMIW. There's no shows with a native lead character. Echo's coming for Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Marvel, if you see this, I would love to play Wyatt Wingfoot if She-Hulk gets a second season. I would also love to play American Eagle. If not, I would love to play that guy behind me, Miguel O'Hara, because Miguel is Mexican. I'm not Mexican, but I can pass, so I can be Miguel O'Hara. I'm really short, though, so you may have to retcon the height for the 928. And, you know, that being said, we're going to continue on. Indigenous Erasure, I got a couple of mixed friends that have also been confronted by people of color and people of non-color telling them that they weren't really indigenous because they're mixed or whatever, and I got a lot of that too. However, I got a lot of indigenous support from other people who said that we mixed indigenous people are valid. So in return, like I said, I gotta fight for my native side. I didn't get to have more than 12 years with my great-grandmother. I only had 12 years with Ada Wallace Ford. Okay? So by the time I was 12, she had one foot in the grave and she had gangrene, and she eventually would pass away. Now, as for my grandmother herself, Clara Bay, I didn't get but so many years of her, but she passed away. But the reason for that was because as a child, I only got to see my father during the summertime. As an adult, I had to find time and I had to find a job where I could actually literally go down there on the weekends and see my grandmother because I could drive there by then. But by the time 2008 rolled around, her time on this earth had passed. And now, I feel a lot stronger connection to my native side versus my black side, only because we were not raised native. We were raised black. On both sides of my family, we were raised black. So, that kind of put a default in that. Now, I will tell you that you live and you learn. And on my reconnecting journey, because of this man that I met in McGuire Hospital, and I thank you so much, sir, that there's things that I didn't know natives had to go through just to get a card on your reconnecting journey versus having a card when you were born in a res and all that shit, and that shit's forced upon you. And so it's two sides to that. You know, there's the side where it's good to have it because you're native, but it's also mandatory to have it because you're native, versus natives not born on the reservation versus natives not in a federally recognized tribe. And I'm going to have to do a part 3 because the dog's going down the hallway, which means the old broad has to go out. Thank you guys for watching.